Okay, thanks everybody for having a little bit of patience before we get started. My name's Adam Gordon. Excuse the lockdown haircut. I'm from the northern part of the United Kingdom where we haven't been playing basketball games for the last 4 months and going to the hairdressers. That's just a bit of friendly banter for any of my English friends who are listening to this. I'm going to do a quick fire candidate ID demonstration. Unless you're using Candidate.ID already, you won't have seen anything like this in recruitment. The purpose of this software is to eliminate cold contact as much as possible. I've been in recruitment for 21 years, and recruiters spending their time cold contacting people is the biggest productivity sapper in our profession. We describe this product in two ways. We describe it as talent lead gen. So it serves up hot leads to recruiters every single day. If you're in an agency, that includes client leads as well as candidate leads. And the other way we describe this is talent pipeline automation. So my definition of a talent pipeline is that only exists when you know who's cold, who's warm, and who's hire ready in real time. And if you don't know that, you don't have a talent pipeline. Candidate.ID is tracking and scoring each candidate's interactions with your content so that you know who's cold, warm, and hire ready, and therefore you have a talent pipeline, genuine talent pipeline. This slide on its own really encapsulates what Candidate.ID is able to do. So if you can see that in the last week, John opened an email from you but did nothing else, whereas Jane opened the email, clicked the link, looked at your landing page, looked at your company on Glassdoor and YouTube, and the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile and the job description. Clearly, Jane is more likely to be ready for a conversation than John today. There are 200 Johns and Janes in your database of software engineers. You filter them by the real-time engagement score, and all the Janes will be up near the top, highly active. The Johns will be down near the bottom, not doing very much that indicates they're ready for a conversation. Why is this better than CRM? Because with a CRM, all you understand is that John opened an email, but you don't know what John did from there. Jane opened the email, you don't know what Jane did from there. With some modern CRMs, you'll get to see that John or Jane, well, you'll get to see that John clicked no links from that email, whereas Jane clicked a link. But if there's 4 links in your email, you don't know which link it was that Jane clicked. So it's not really that useful. It's a very, very shallow indicator of who's cold, warm, and hire ready. Therefore, you can't build talent pipelines with a CRM unless you're doing it manually, in which case your recruiters need to be managing a pool of no more than 300 candidates, because according to Dunbar's law, we can't maintain relationships with people, with more than 300 people at one time manually, using our brains only. So how does it work? Jane opened the email. The email's activated a pixel and a cookie, and she's clicked on a link from that email. It's tracked that link. She's gone to the landing page, which is embedded with tracking script. She's clicked from there to the Glassdoor page, and because the landing page is embedded with tracking script, that knows which link she clicked. At the Glassdoor profile, in the summary for your company, there's a link to the YouTube video. It's a trackable Candidate.ID link. At the YouTube video, in the summary of that video, there's a trackable link to the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile. At the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile, there's a trackable link to take a look at some jobs that I'm hiring for right now. And that's how she gets to the job description, which is on your career site, your website, or another landing page, all of them embedded with tracking script. So it's using cookie tracking, IP recognition, tracking script, custom trackable redirect links, and some secret sauce within Candidate.ID, which allows us to determine what the person's device is, what's their browser, what's their screen resolution, and various other clues, which mean we know it's the same person who's doing those activities. Feel free to ask me any questions just in the Q&A. And I'll come to those. So this is Candidate.ID. The first thing I'm going to do is go into my pipelines. So I'm looking for software engineers. I go into my engineers pipeline. And I can see I've got 424 cold candidates, 924 warm, 661 who are hire ready. So John's cold because he's on 5 points. Adam's warm because he's on 10 points. Jane is hire ready because she's on 26 points. But then Jane does nothing for a couple of weeks. Her points start to go down. She's back in warm. She starts to do things again, and she goes back up, and she's back in hire ready. It's not a straight journey, cold to warm to hire ready, and that's why points go up and down according to activity or inactivity. Segments are effectively sub-pipelines. So I could go into the segment for a different location or for a different skill set specifically. And they're effectively like saved searches within LinkedIn. So I'll go into my London segment. I've got 18 who are cold, 59 who are warm, 26 who are hire ready. Let's click through to my 26 hire ready engineers in London. Here they all are. And I filter them according to their ID score. That's their engagement score. Carlin Tassell is up at the top. I go into Carlin's profile. There's some summary information in here. And then a bit further down, I can see exactly what she's been doing. I therefore know exactly what to say to her when I make contact. It's serving me with a script, so I know what to say. I can manually add calls or notes. I can sync this to my email and calendar, Gmail or Outlook, so that any messages or calendar appointments between me and this candidate appear in here. I can add CVs and other documents, and we have a very, very powerful search function, which I'll show you shortly. And then you've got this privacy preferences section. So if you're hiring people from the EU, you can mean complete automatic GDPR compliance. Australia certainly has some rule, I think, which was due to come into place this year, which is similar. I want to make contact with the candidates. Click send email from here. Any messages between me and that candidate are tracked and scored. Or if I've got a real mobile number, I could send a text message from here. Other features within Candidate.ID. There are some CRM-y features such as company pages where you can maybe map your competitors. There's a very simple jobs manager in here. This is not an applicant tracking system, but if you did want to manage jobs from here, you can. I'm going to go on to the campaign builder and what you do to actually start generating those leads. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go into links and downloads, new. I've got some kind of content that I want to track people going to. So I select this content. I want to select people going to this image. I could put in videos. I could put in all sorts of different pieces of content in here. And then I just share that out, that link using email. I save this. It gives me a trackable link for this. I share it out using social media or using email or text message. And anybody that in my pipelines who clicks on that, I get to know that they've done that. And if it's a really important piece of content, high value piece of content, like a job description, then I could set up an alert so that anybody who clicks on that, it sends me an email to tell me that they've done that. Alternatively, I could track people going to external sites, linkedin.com/hiring manager. For example, I just click save. It'll give me a trackable link for this. Again, I could post that on social media. Does anybody want a new job as a data scientist? Take a look at Sarah Smith's profile with this trackable link, because Sarah's hiring right now. Candidates will go onto the person's profile. You know who's been on there. They'll then click through our trackable link from there to the job description, and you get to see a lot more journey. I can build forms from here to capture candidate information. Click new, and then I just choose what do I want to ask candidates about. There's some pre-selected options in here, or you can add your own in, and then I just choose my actions. What happens when the candidate fills in that form. Does their ID score change? Do they move pipelines? Do their tags get modified? Do they get an email? Do I get an email? This will give me a snippet of code that I can just embed into my landing pages or any other web page which I can attach forms to. So within landing pages, then new. Every organization has their own landing page templates in here. Our customer success and onboarding team helps companies to build landing page templates at the beginning. And then you just select the template you want to use, drop in the content assets, drop in the text, drop in any forms, and you're good to go. And then the email builder is exactly the same as the landing page builder. It just produces an email format instead of a landing page format. So I go into the campaign builder, new. I'm looking for data scientists in Auckland. And the description is a lead gen stroke nurture campaign. The pipeline I select, of course, it would be my engineers. It would be my data scientists rather than engineers. Should new pipeline or segment candidates enter the campaign? Yes, this is really important. It means anybody that comes and joins that pipeline automatically goes into the campaign. I want to make it live at the weekend, and I want to make it live between 9 and 11 in the morning. So anything that comes out from this campaign goes out between 9 and 11 in the morning. I've now got the option to create very, very sophisticated or simple candidate nurture campaigns using this campaign builder. It's paint by numbers. Recruiters can do it. You don't need to be an experienced recruitment marketer to use this, although if you are an experienced recruitment marketer, you can do some really, really sophisticated things. So my different actions: adjust their score, move them to another campaign, move them to another stage, delete the candidates, modify their tags, send them an email, move them to another pipeline, send the user an email. Let's take a look at an example. This is for data scientists. This is a job alert. It might not look like a job alert, but that is what it is. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay. So how this starts is, in pink is the actions, in green is the decisions. The fixed line, it means that the actions happened. The broken line means the action hasn't happened. So in this example, you send the candidates an email. If they do not open the email, then they receive another email 2 days later with a different subject heading. Same email, different subject heading. If they do not open that, they receive the same content by text message. If they do not engage with that, then they're deleted. Under GDPR, these people have been scraped off the internet using our source and match function, which I'll show you shortly. If they do click on a link from the text message, the subject swap email, or the original email, they get 1 point, 1 engagement point for that. If they then go to the career site, they get 5 points. They get marked as warm. If they then swipe right to confirm they have machine learning skills using the candidate.ID forms, they automatically move into the machine learning pipeline. I think what they should do here is they should select also the machine learning recruiter gets a notification. If they move into if they look at the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile, they get another 2 points. If they look at the job description, they get another 10 points, marked as hire ready. The sourcer gets an alert, and they move into the hire ready campaign. So you can build some really smart things using the different actions that I've showed you, as well as the decisions, which are, did they open the email? Did they visit the URL? Did they click on the link? Did they click on the form? Let's build something very, very simple. So the first thing is send the candidates an email, call that email 1. It knows to send that Saturdays or Sundays between 9 and 11. Decision is going to be, from there, did they visit the URL? Careers site visit. careersite.com. If they did visit the career site, I want their points to go up by 1. If they didn't visit the career site, I want their points to go down by 1. Of course, you're not building this per candidate. You're building this per campaign, but then of course you can clone this campaign across all of your different requirements. Now I'm going to give that 2 days before triggering that action, which is the points go down by 2. So if they did not visit the career site, the other thing I want to happen is they get a text message 2 days later. Text message 1, check out this career story at Mars with a link to the relevant page of the career site. Again, it's got to be 2 days after if they haven't opened the email. And then the next thing that I want is if they clicked on the form to look at the job description, then I want an alert to tell me which candidates looked at the job description. I can then see who clicked on the job description but did not apply. And that means that I've got a list of who are the people who applied. That comes in through the applicant tracking system. Candidate.ID connects to that. Who didn't apply, I will get to see who those people are, and I can potentially follow up with them. So it's send user an email, or it might be send user a notification, which is a platform notification up here. So let's send me a notification because I'm living within Candidate.ID for all of my sourcing and candidate management. So job description visits, and I select myself as the recipient of this 1 day after they've been there, so that I'm not contacting them immediately, but I do get to see who those individuals are. So the next thing I'm going to do is, if I don't feel like I've got enough candidates, I'll go into source and match. I'll do my job board search. I will select from, there's over 300 different job boards that you could select from, including Seek, for example. And then I can do my search. I can identify all the candidates using this search, and then I can pass them into Candidate.ID. It selects their name, it selects their employer, their current job title, anything it recognizes as skill sets, it adds as tags. If you're using an actual job board, like a CV library or a Read or a Seek, for example, or Indeed, then it'll bring in their mobile number, their email address. If it's from LinkedIn, it'll bring in a mobile number or email address if it's on their public profile or if they're first-tier connections. So let's do a search using the LinkedIn basic account that I've got attached to this. Fetch the job board interface, and I'm going to search for data scientist. This is using a variety of different machine learning techniques to identify all of the candidates. So it's using natural language processing, it's using semantic search, it's using contextual analysis. And what that means is that it understands variance on words. It understands that if somebody says that they worked in Starbucks and Java was their specialty coffee, then that does not mean they're a Java developer, things like that. So I select the LinkedIn basic account. The country I'm going to select is Australia. And the region I'm going to select is Melbourne. I now search the job boards, and it's going to bring back, obviously this is a very, very basic search. I'm a sourcer, so I do appreciate that data scientist is extremely basic. Manager, data scientist at EY is the person who's come up top, Michelle Zhao. Principal data scientist, people analytics, is Budi Jayatileke. Chief Data Scientist at PwC, Professor Matt Cooperholtz. Chief Data Scientist and Professor, probably not your bog standard data scientist job. Peter Davenport, Data Scientist in Melbourne. Let's just have a look at Peter. Peter is, so with a job board, it's going to take, this is just going to open the CV straight away. With LinkedIn, their API is a bit more complicated, and so you have to click through that to look at the full profile. But then this is going to bring up his LinkedIn profile, assuming he looks like a data scientist in Melbourne. Then I'm going to click Save Candidate, and it'll create a profile for him in Candidate.ID if I want that to happen. Okay, so he's a data scientist at Census, manager for predictive modeling, manager for data mining and analysis. Yeah, he looks excellent. So from back here in the search, I'll select these 4 people are all potentially good, and I'm going to now click Save Candidates, and that'll create a profile for them within Candidate.ID. Automatically, I can have a campaign set up so that, remember earlier when I was setting up my campaign, I said, do I want new candidates to enter the campaign? I said yes. What that means is I could be bringing people in from job boards, and automatically they're going into a campaign like this where they go through several steps. You're tracking and scoring their interactions. If they don't interact, they get deleted, so you don't have any data protection issues. And that's Candidate.ID. So I'm very, very easy to find online. You can email me at adam@candidate.id. And I can be accessed easily at LinkedIn, at Twitter, and at Facebook. If you just put in Adam Gordon Candidate.ID with a dot in the middle, you'll be able to find me there. I hope that's been interesting, and I'll make sure to share a copy of the recording with everybody who has turned up for the session. So thanks very much, and all the very best.